Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted.
Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. When old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-IRECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad, bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good, good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
Well, hello, my fellow Americans, as well as all of my fellow liberty lovers out there around the globe. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my Bunker Ice home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, even on a very ultra-warm day as today, is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. That's a toll-free number this Tuesday, May the 12th in the year of our Lord 2015. As we continue to march on into the rest of, into the middle of the week. Tomorrow is the middle of the week. Welcome to Hump Day tomorrow. I hope you had a wonderful, freedom-filled day today. Because, you know, there are people out there that are just clamoring to try to take away your freedom. And they're doing it subtly, folks. No, don't get me wrong here. Don't misunderstand. All of this, most of this take away your freedom is done subtly. They don't really want you to notice it too much. And one of the things that we're seeing being affected by all of this lack of freedom is the NFL. Now, I know I said I did not want to talk about the Tom Brady deflate gate type of thing, but you have to understand something. And there is some comparisons I'm going to make between the NFL and politics tonight. Because it's important for you to understand this. It really is. Because we've got a lot of things going on that are happening to the NFL that is a direct reflection of the political correctness of today. And it really is a reflection. You know, a sports used to be, sports and used to be like entertainment. It was a distraction. It was separated from politics of the day, even though politics might have had a hand in the particular sport. It was still, for the people, the everyday masses, it was a separation from politics. I mean, going all the way back to ancient Rome and the gladiator days. Sure, the emperors of Rome and before the emperors, the Roman elite, they had a lot of influence on, the Colosseum, the various Colosseums and gladiator battles and horse racing, chariot racing events, and they had a lot of influence on that. But it was exclusively for not just the distraction for the public, but for the entertainment and pleasure of the leadership and the public. And today we're starting to see that sports and entertainment is merely a distraction. It's used by the elite to start to establish and to spread their message and to distract from the fact that they're issuing the message and to keep you off balance. So you will eventually, because, if they want political correctness, one way to get you to accept it is to introduce it into your entertainment, mainly sports. So if you accept it in your major league sports, well, you're going to accept it in your regular everyday life. Because sports in this country, and not just the United States, do not get me wrong in that. I mean, yeah, we have our heroes in football, baseball, basketball, even to a lesser extent hockey in this country. These guys are like gods almost. They're secondary gods. We put them on a pedestal. They're just our lives are evolved around our sports legends, our sports heroes. And the same with other celebrities, like our musicians and our actors. I mean, we've elevated them over the past century to such godlike status. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, and this is one reason why these people make all kinds of money. Now, understand that it's not just in the United States. You can find this type of thing happening all over the planet. I mean, you go to nations where soccer, basically the rest of the world's football, basically is huge. I mean, soccer is such a fanatical type has such a fanatical type of following that people die. Massive amounts of people can die at a soccer match. Now, other than somebody whacking a baseball hat or slamming somebody's head up against a car on rare occasions, how often is it that somebody in the United States dies at a baseball, basketball, or football game? It's usually out in the parking lot. There usually isn't a stampede within the stadium. So the rest of the world has done the same thing for their entertainers and sports heroes. I mean, these people are just elevated to beyond belief. Now, this is why I do not follow. I have, ever since I was a kid, I never really understood people who wanted another person's autograph. I never understood it. Now, earlier today, I was mentioning to someone about my early semi-celebrity days with the Sportsorama Wheelmasters, and she brought back some wonderful memories I had of that time. In my early adulthood, teens up until about 21, 22 years of age. Roller skating. We did things like it was a roller skating demonstration team called the Sportsorama Wheelmasters, and we used to do all kinds of during the summer, especially parades. We were busy throughout the entire summer doing various parades and events. We performed at the Great New York State Fair like 3 years in a row. We were invited to perform, and we did perform up in Canada during their Independence Day, July 4th or July 1st, called Canada Day, in their nation's capital in Ottawa, Hull. And we were invited to be up there to perform for the Canadians in celebration of their Independence Day. We performed on a major, out, or I guess they call it off Broadway. It's off Broadway if it's not in New York. A stage called Salt City Stage or Salt City Playhouse. 2 years we were there. We did a number of different things in and around central New York for years. And it was a lot of fun. And I remember the first time there was a little kid that just wasn't me. I mean, many of the other sports wheelmasters asked for our autographs. I thought, well, isn't this cute? But then after I did it, I thought, well, why would this kid ask for my signature, basically? That's what an autograph is, just a signature. And me being his age at the time, and I can realize that, he was probably looking at all the tricks and stunts and dance moves we were doing on roller skates were not easy, and he was probably awed by them. I every once in a while I get to see a clip of the things that we used to do. Thank goodness for Facebook. I see clips and pictures every once in a while on Facebook of the things that we used to do, and I got to tell you, I'm amazed that we didn't kill ourselves with some of the stunts that we did on roller skates. And I wasn't the craziest one on 8 wheels. There were people in the troupe that were probably a lot more nuts than I was. But again, I can't believe that we didn't hurt ourselves. Even because today I look at some of these extreme players like the BMXers and the skateboarders and the snowboarders, and I ask myself, how do you practice something like that? And today, by reminiscing about the Wheelmasters, I realize exactly how you practice those types of steps very carefully, and you just do them. You just one day, you think that you're good enough to accomplish that particular stunt or feat, and you attempt it, and you do it. There is no room for error when you try some of these things. There is no practice, if you will. Yeah, you're practicing, but there really isn't practice, because practice allows for mistakes. You make a mistake, you can severely and seriously injure yourself. It's not a practice at that particular moment. You do it or you don't. And every time you practice, you keep doing it or you don't. Practice is taking the ball and basketball and dribbling and just practicing bouncing back and forth, to get your eye-hand coordination going and get the feel of the ball. That's practice. When you're doing a flip on roller skates over somebody else's back and you're flipping in the middle of the air over their back and you're going to land on your feet so you don't fall and land on your face, well, you got one shot. You can't miss it. There is no practice. So you better have the confidence and understanding of how it all works so that when you go to do it, you do it right that very first time, or you're going to severely injure yourself. And some of these, you do a cartwheel. Now think of doing cartwheels for a second. Now I'm going to bring all this home, folks, so just pay attention and follow me on this. You have somebody who's leaning on their knees. They're standing up. And they're hunched over, with their arms braced on their knees. You're rolling up behind them at least 10 to 15 miles an hour on your roller skates. They're on roller skates. So now they're probably about a good 4 inches taller than they would normally be. So are you. So you're rolling up on them, doing about, you're doing a good clip, but 10 miles, 15 miles per hour, and you're not going slow. The move, as you come up to them, there is a point of no return. So you're going to do a flip over them, but this is how you do it. As you approach, the first thing you do is you position your body as if you're going to do a handstand flip, but instead of the ground, they're elevated back. Is your flip point. Now understand, because you're elevated as tall as this person is, hunched over, you can over-rotate very easily and literally land on your face on hard pavement. So think of somebody who kind of they do a flip in a pool. They springboard, they pull on a pool, and they do a flip. They rotate, and they over-rotate, and they do a belly flop. Or they under-rotate, and they land on, they do a back flop. That hurts. Well, you can't do that on pavement when you're going 10 or 15 miles per hour on a pair of roller skates. You can't miss the landing. And you have to land in such a way where you continue to roller skate after you land. So when you do it, you got to have the confidence that you know that what you're doing. Now, I can look at that little kid who saw us doing that kind of stuff, and he was looking in amazement. And I can think, well, why do we ask for people's autographs? Because when I was his age, I didn't ask for anybody's autograph. I have never asked for anybody's autograph because I could never see the value in having somebody's signature in my hand, a piece of paper or what have you. I just didn't get it. At that moment, I kind of understood because it's a reminder of something that this person can do that leaves you in awe because you can't yet do that. So when you have these sports stars who are out there that are very good at the game that they're particularly good at and playing, for instance, Tom Brady, other people are in absolute awe at how somebody can be that good. Do you understand what I'm saying? It reflects, when you ask for their autograph, it reflects your belief in your point of view about how good that person is. And every time you see that autograph, it reminds you of, one of your favorite plays that they pulled off. Reminds you, it may give you some inspiration if you're a young kid. Maybe it gives you inspiration to try to practice and be as good as your idol someday in that particular sport. It gives you some hope. Now, I still don't ask for autographs to this day, but that makes me a little bit different. But it gives you some hope. I can see where it gives people hope because they can dream of, oh, man, I remember that play, and I got that game that I got this autograph from him. Oh, man, that was so awesome. He can have another game like that. Or if you're young enough, man, I remember watching him play. And he was my hero, my idol in football, and I wanted to be just as good as him. So I practice and practice and practice and practice. Now, I'm sure that Tom Brady, I don't know who his idols were, but I'm sure Tom Brady had idols, football idols when he was younger. And maybe he even had autographs of some of them. I don't know. I don't pay attention to the man's personal life. It's none of my business, really. I just watch him play on the field. That's it. The gridiron. So we also have our politicians who kind of infiltrate our entertainment and our heroes by introducing to them certain types of political correctness, if you will, as a test run. Will the American people accept this type of political correctness, or will they accept this type of political correctness? Can we make this a mantra? And then they try to foist it on the rest of us through our entertainment and our sports. Now, if you don't think that entertainment, especially movies and TV programs, cannot be used as models and pushes towards political agendas, you better watch them again. And time and time again, you're going to see things like certain agendas, like global warming agenda. I don't know how many movies we've had about global warming, and if we don't do something, humanity's gonna die, right? Ben Affleck, what was it? The day after, was that one of his bad movies? He's had multiple, I know, but one of his bad movies. And a number of others, not starring Ben Affleck, but there have been a number of other movies that are based on global warming or some sort of man-made calamity because we're not paying attention today. And we get things like, you get things that start that you think start a conversation. However, the conversations are already been going on. Remember in football, we had this domestic violence and domestic abuse type of thing going on last year when an NFL player was spotted knocking out his fiance in an elevator. And we're supposed to think that we're supposed to have a conversation about this because now, oh, this is the pinnacle of bad now. This is so terrible. And people sort of followed along. And now we're getting this whole idea of Deflategate and cheating. And how bad cheating possibly is or can be or should be and should be thought of. And all of a sudden, now that's even worse than domestic abuse. Because the punishment meted out for this so-called Deflategate cheating scandal is greater than any player has gotten for alleged or viewed domestic abuse. I guess cheating is now the politically correct thing to not tolerate. Now, remember, we also had some other things that Redskins. Remember that football? You know, there was even Obama was the president of the United States was putting pressure on the Washington Redskins to change their name from Redskins, and the owner of the Redskins was not budging. Even the NFL was kind of making it. Well, maybe you should think about changing it, but he was not. The owner of the team was not budging. And now today. And this is from NBC News, Washington. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is changing her tune in an effort to bring the Redskins back to Washington. Now, last year as a D.C. council member, Bowser signed a council resolution calling for the team to change its name, which many consider a racial slur. Now, in the past, she had said a name change should be part of any talks about bringing the team back to D.C., but the mayor, recently started using the name in TV and radio interviews. She says, "We know the perfect location for the Redskins is where they played for decades." So now it's about this guy is bucking the political correctness trend, and he's holding his own. And now liberals are coming around and saying, well, look, when push comes to shove and you push back on liberals, sometimes they'll capitulate when money's involved. When they think they can get more money out of you, they're going to. I mean, hell, if they can't tax you, they can't control you if you're not in their jurisdiction, correct? So now they're thinking, well, football's a major game, has a lot of potential revenue for the district. And taxes and fees and things like that. So maybe we should lighten up a little bit on this. Compromise. Although Democrats don't often compromise. But they're thinking maybe we should compromise this time. Give them a chance to do things the right way on their own. And let's see if they do it. Well, I'm not buying this whole notion, but and it doesn't look like that the owner of the team is going to buy it either. But we'll see. Maybe they'll give him enough incentive to move the team to Washington. But we have this whole idea of politics getting involved in our sports for various legitimate, in their mind, reasons. So we have this cheat gate or deflate gate that's going on in football. And so now they're going to met out a 4-game suspension for arguably the league's biggest recognized star right now. I don't care, whether you like the Patriots and Tom Brady or you despise the Patriots and Tom Brady. It does. He is the draw. And, many teams have a big name star that draws the crowd because everybody wants to see them perform and do amazing things and create some sort of amazing memory for them. That's Tom Brady. He's done it over and over and over again. For nearly 20 seasons. I don't know how long this guy's been playing. He's like 38, 39 years old this year. I'm telling you, it's well, I'll continue when we get back. Hold on, folks.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Toll free 603-835-3224 if you wish to join me here on The Rod Eccles Show. I am still your lovable host, L. Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio. And as we roll on here, look, people, what you have to understand about the sports connection to politics is that they will use sports. They will use entertainment. And let's face it, sports is nothing more than entertainment. And people spend more on sports and sports memorabilia than they do at the movies. I mean, our four major sports deliver more economic bang every year around this nation than movies do. No, everybody goes to a movie, and the movie's big for a month, maybe two. What are the big movies now? The Age of Ultron, the Avengers, which I want to see, by the way. But previously, before that, the big, huge blockbuster, and frankly, it's only the reason why it's so huge, really, is because one of its main stars, passed away last year in a car accident, and that was, and I haven't followed it since like Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious. What was that, number 3? Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift is like number 3. I didn't even watch all of it. I was kind of like, yeah, same old. I'm bored of it. But now, this is 7, right? So somewhere between, I don't know when it happened, but somewhere we got 4, 5, and 6. I missed them. I didn't think I missed much, but I missed them. Now, understand that a lot of times in movies, even in some of these big blockbusters, you're going to get a political message. And that political message is because it's coming from the left. Hollywood is very leftist. Sure, there are conservative actors out there. There are conservative mainstream actors and big names out there, but they're far and few between. And most of the time, they kind of, until they get to a point where they just don't care anymore because they've already made so many movies and TV shows and made so much money, and they made a name for themselves that they really don't care because people are still going to want to see them. John Voight, famous for his conservatism. And yet his daughter out there, Angelina Jolie, is just the opposite of him. Although I think she's questioning, believe it or not. There have been a number of stories on Angelina Jolie saying certain things, and you're scratching your head. This is coming from Angelina? This is not very liberalistic of her. So I believe that she's getting to the point where she's questioning, as are a lot of other liberals, especially blacks. They're beginning to question, and the left doesn't like this. So they need to look. A lot of the stuff that you see is dramatized when it comes to sports and entertainment. Some of this stuff is being manufactured. Now, I've heard some people come up with the idea, well, the NFL, if they wanted to handle this cheat gate or deflate gate, they could have handled it, within less than 4 days. They could have even handled it right then and there on the field when they found out that the balls were not legal. But for whatever reason, they kept it going. Now, some people are speculating, well, it's because they wanted to create this gotcha scenario for a number of reasons. And some of those reasons are, to be politically, show political correctness again, to obfuscate the fact that policies are in politics now over football. Football is trying to show that they can be sensitive and understanding and take corrective action where corrective action is due. And yeah, there's so many people that dislike the Patriots and Brady because they've been so good and so domineering in the game of football over the past decade or so, that everything that they have tried to do to the Patriots, and this is not the first thing, everything that they've tried to do to this team, they have not been able to disrupt the Robert Kraft, Belichick, Brady triangle. They haven't been able to break through it. And those three guys, Kraft is an amazing owner. The Patriots were in dire straits for a while, and Kraft really picked him up for a song. And now they're one of the most valuable sports franchises in sports history. And they're one of the most winningest sports franchise in professional sports history. But you can't. There's this thing on the left that you can't be too much of a winner because it's unfair. It's unfair that the Patriots keep winning after year after year after year. It's unfair that Tom Brady is so good. It's so unfair that Belichick is so. And previously, you had the tuna. What's his name? Who went to the Jets? Who was those? They continually get coaches that are so good. That's unfair. They get players that are just so good, it's unfair. I know, to forget the Hernandez thing for a second. I know that's a Patriot thing. And Aaron Hernandez, that's a whole different story. I fully understand. I don't understand the Hernandez thing. The guy is trying to be a thug when he's a multimillionaire and he's got, contracts and endorsements ranging in more multi-millions of dollars. It was just stupid on his part. Well, now he's going to pay for it the rest of his life. So he's lost everything. But we're supposed to, bow down. Well, we do bow down to these sports and the sports superstars, these actors, these musicians. I find it amazing that people just go nuts. So I saw a little blurb today. Somebody was on an airplane. They boarded an airplane. And lo and behold, sitting in front of them, and this wasn't even, it didn't appear to be first class on this plane, which caught my attention too. But this woman recognized the passenger sitting directly in front of her. And she taps him on the shoulder and says, it's my daughter's birthday. Would you mind singing her happy birthday? And he was just as wonderful as can be in this video. And we're talking none other than Aerosmith frontman Steven Tyler. He acts like a total goofball, and he sings to this woman's daughter happy birthday. Now, I am sure that there had to have been a nurse on board, because I'm sure they both would, especially the mom, because she knows exactly who he is. She must have passed out. She must have fainted. Oh my God, Steven Tyler is saying to my daughter, I will never, ever, ever, ever wash this hand. Oh, wait. Yeah, I touched him with his hand. I'll never wash it again. I mean, this is how crazy we get. I mean, the guy is obviously, going somewhere, minding his own business. Not even in first class, so he's really, minding his own business. He's not trying to be a celebrity. But yeah, somebody recognized him, and he has the wherewithal and the humbleness to turn around, how you turn around on seats, in an airplane seat, and sing to this woman's daughter happy birthday. I mean, it was adorable, really. But this is how we elevate these people. They're just people. But we elevate them. So it makes, and we always have. This is not a new phenomenon. I know people all say, well, this is new. No, this is going all the way back to pre-Rome, pre-ancient Rome. This is going back to the Olympics of the ancient Greeks, and these wonderful men athletic men. They performed in the nude. I can't imagine being in ancient Greece and you're a man, and you go to the Colosseum or the Olympic Stadium or whatever, and just to watch the sports and see all these athletes out there performing in the nude. That would have been rather awkward. But again, they had their sports legends and sports stars back then, and their warrior stars, people who had battle after battle, maybe the scars all over them, but they survived and they killed many, many, many enemy. We have always deified certain human beings for doing certain things that made us think that we as humans could be better, could strive to be better at something. So this whole phenomena of today about deifying, sports players and actors and musicians and other, strange entertainers, basically, is nothing new. And politicians using them to manipulate the general population is also nothing new. But I do find it amazing that we are so fixated now on entertainment and the stars that entertain us that we would forget, he cheated. Man, Tom Brady, he should be suspended for the whole season. He needs to give up those emails and be suspended for the whole season. Really, but I don't hear this same complaint coming from the general peanut gallery about Hillary Clinton. And she's done something potentially far more damaging and hurtful to the people of this country than Tom Brady could ever do. I mean, let's think about this logically for a second. But again, we are being forced to focus on this because the mainstream media, they're not letting this go. They're not letting it go. Now, my opinion on the whole affair, I don't care. I mean, look, I've been a part of sports teams in high school and college, and I know cheating goes on. Cheating happens. Now, most of the time, the cheating person or team gets caught, and there's a foul or penalty assessed, a foul called or a penalty assessed, and it's taken care of right then and there, and we move on. Now, basically, whenever you do something that causes a foul, that's an attempt at cheating. Basketball, it's okay to have a clean shot block. You can block somebody's shot. What you can't do is foul them. You can't slap their hand or move their arm, touch their arm and move it out of the way. You can't bump them out of the way. You can't, charge them to try to get to the basket. That's called a foul. Now, basically what a foul is really cheating. Plain and simple. That's exactly because you're not following the rule. So we have a mechanism in place already to handle cheaters. You get penalized. But what happens in politics when you cheat? Well, in many cases, nothing. And we the people suffer. Hey, they cheat in voting. Well, the little guy who's doing the cheating in elections, yeah, they if they get caught, they're the ones that get slammed. They're the ones that get fined. They're the ones that get arrested and possibly go to put on trial and go to jail. But the person who wins the election, we don't even try to find out if they even knew anything about cheating. But what was the first thing they did about Brady? Oh, we got to find out if Brady knew about this. But we don't try to find out, did Obama know about some of the Acorn election scam and cheating going on during the last election? No, we don't try to find that out. No, that's just those people acting on their own. So, but when we look at Deflategate, it isn't the ball boy or somebody else in the organization acting on their own. Oh, no. Brady has to know. But if you say, well, Obama had to know, He had to know that Hillary had another server. And people that want to support him in Obama are like, I don't know. I knew nothing about it. No. But we don't want to know. We don't demand to know. Well, did Obama know? Did he know anything about Hillary's cheating? We don't know. And we don't seem to want to know. I want to know. Well, what are in those emails? Well, we got to find out if Brady said something in the emails and tried to cover it up. But what about Hillary? You know, we've had Americans that died. And we might be able to find out more about why and how this whole thing happened, this whole tragedy of Benghazi happened, if we had all our emails, but we don't. But American people aren't calling up sports shows. They're not calling up political shows. They're not calling up, their local talk shows demanding that Hillary turn over the emails. No, what I'm hearing is people calling up and demanding that Brady turn over his emails and or be suspended for the entire 2015-16 season. But we're not demanding that Hillary produce the emails, and if something was amiss that she knew about or was responsible for, how about her going to jail? No, we're not demanding that. We're not demanding any of that. So you have to ask, is there a sort of political agenda going on there? I mean, I got to tell you, I don't know. There very well could be, because it all just seems too unreasonable and unreal that a major politician would do something that is already highly illegal, and they already know better. But she's standing up and saying, well, I'm not going to turn over my emails. I'm not going to turn over my server. So you're just going to have to deal with it. All right, can you imagine what the people would, the fans would say about Tom Brady if, he really took that kind of attitude and position? Well, when he was given that speech, Rod, and he was responding to all the deflate, he seemed a little bit arrogant and aloof about the whole thing. Okay, so Hillary seems a little bit arrogant and aloof about her email server, but that's okay. But Tom Brady seems a little bit arrogant and aloof about the Deflategate scandal, and that's not okay. Look, folks, when it comes down to all of this stuff, we have a bunch of politicians that manipulate us via our entertainment, and we allow them to do so by not demanding on the political side that they equate the same type of standard on themselves and in politics as they want to us to assume that they equate to our entertainment and our sports. I mean, this is just, it's insanity. This is at the point now of insanity. And I got to tell you, I lost interest in professional baseball long ago. I lost interest in professional basketball really long ago. And I got to tell you, I'm getting to the point now where I'm losing interest in professional football. I really am. Because all of this stuff it's meaningless in the grand scheme of things anyway. Yes, if our team wins, we're euphoric for a day or two, or maybe a week until the next week that they play and lose. But it doesn't really last very long. I know you hear, well, certain cities need a sports team because they can bring a city back. Really? What is it? There was a movie back in the 70s, and some of you probably, it was a comedy. It's called The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And, it was a la remember the movie Thank God It's Friday? It was kind of like that type of genre of a movie, comedy. And Pittsburgh in the movie was in dire straits. And the professional basketball team called the Fish, They were a mismatched and sad and sawdry lot. And the stadium that they played in was just dilapidated, terrible. And then, they had a coach and a few other people got this team together and got them to start playing like a team, and they started winning. And then the audience and ticket sales in the stadium went up. And then they got a new floor, a very elaborate floor. And then, the Pittsburgh is going to be high now because the fish are out there and they're giving the city hope. Hope for what? A sports team can give you hope? I don't really think so. But who says it? Well, the lamestream media says it on behest and behalf of the politicos of the area. Yeah, hey, go out there and tell them that there's hope now because, this team is winning. They can bring a sense of pride back to the city. And then people glom onto it. Yeah. It's kind of like Boston, It's Boston wins a Super Bowl. Yeah, you ask a Patriots fan who won the last Super Bowl, 2015 Super Bowl. Well, we did. They'll say we did. That's what they'll tell you. Well, no, it's not we. You're not a member of the Patriots. You're not on their payroll. You're not on the field. You're not even on the practice field. You had nothing to do with their win. The Patriots won the Super Bowl of 2015. But the fans will say, yeah, we won. Because they take ownership of the team. But yet they won't do the same thing in politics. I mean, and look, these politicians, they fully understand this. Don't doubt me on this. So when people ask me, well, Rod, what do you think about the Deflategate? I say, I think there are more important things to think about, discuss, and get some answers on than whether or not Tom Brady knew that a few footballs were minutely underinflated. Plain and simple. That's what I think of Deflategate. It's something that really doesn't mean anything. Nothing at all. But yet we've got people out there thinking that, it's the end all be all. It's the end of civilization if we do not punish Tom Brady and the Patriots and Belichick for cheating. Or potential or possible cheating. But if there are people who cheat in an election, that in those elections do directly and indirectly affect our everyday life, and we don't call for them to be called out on their cheating and people to be punished for their cheating in an election. But then we have people that want to complain about it, about politicians later. Well, you didn't do anything when you had the chance and opportunity. You weren't paying attention. And then when you did pay attention, you said, oh, well, it's no big deal. And then you turn your pointy little head over towards your entertainment of choice or your sports of choice. And you stick your money and your head in that direction. It really is sad. It's sad because we have people in politics that are directing a lot of this. Don't name your team Redskins. Well, that's political correctness being pushed forward by the liberal left in politics. No cheating in the NFL. Well, hello, you're being a hypocrite considering that your party cheated an awful lot in the 2012 and 2014 elections and people went to jail over that kind of stuff. But we're supposed to just, lay down and take the political enema. But when it comes to sports, oh no, we're going to stand up and just shout from the mountaintop how bad it is, how the integrity of the sport is in trouble, is being tested, because you got to find Brady guilty because, whether or not he did do it, if he did know about it or not, he should come clean, and he needs to come clean. But Hillary Clinton doesn't need to come clean. In fact, she doesn't need to come clean so bad or so much that people are saying, well, why are we picking on Hillary? I mean, what difference does it make? That happened a long time ago. I'm telling you, this is more important, but people will still, to this day, even after they hear this, think that Tom Brady is a bigger criminal than Hillary Clinton. That's sad.
Daenerys Targaryen. She says she is the mother of dragons. But would you trust her with your kids? Her father was a maniac. She palled around with Dothraki terrorists. She asked the city of Karth for a government bailout. Then she lost 3 baby dragons after placing them in an unlocked wooden box. An unlocked wooden box. This Khaleesi wants to be queen of the 7 kingdoms, but can she be trusted? Daenerys Targaryen. Wrong for dragons. Wrong for the realm. Paid for by the Committee to Protect Dragons.
We don't know anything about him.
He was never really vetted. Is he really the true-born son of Robert Baratheon?
All over the 7 kingdoms, people are asking the same question. Who is the real King Joffrey? The people of Westeros are hurting. Winter is coming. Crop yields are falling, and the price of fuel is going up.
The cost of peat moss is through the thatched roof.
And this young and inexperienced king takes advice from a whoremongering imp and has launched an illegal war in the north. What is King Joffrey hiding? This is not our kind of family values. King Joffrey. What a bastard.
What a bastard.
Paid for by the young Baratheons for freedom. Robb Stark. He's the biggest celebrity in the North. But his father was a traitor. He arrested his own mother. His bastard brother deserted the Night's Watch. And he couldn't defend his own castle. Worst of all, Robb Stark hasn't stopped the wildlings from invading our lands and taking our jobs. He even has an illegal alien for a nanny. And now he wants to be king in the North? King? Some people say he's really a wolf. Some people say he eats dead people. We can't wait until it's too late. Send a raven to Winterfell now and tell Robb Stark to go back home. Stop eating dead people and defend the damn wall. This ad paid for by Crossbows GPS.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
When you can't find anything to watch on cable, you get bored. When you get bored, you listen to radio cooking shows. When you listen to radio cooking shows, you invite a friend over for dinner. When you invite a friend over for dinner, you use twice as many beans. When you use twice as many beans, you expel deadly farts that kill your friend's dog. When you kill your friend's dog, your friend becomes unstable. When your friend becomes unstable, you're sued for everything you're worth. When you're sued for everything you're worth, you're thrown to the streets. When you're thrown to the streets, you devote your life to world domination. When you devote your life to world domination, you become an evil fascist overlord. When you become an evil fascist overlord, old friends plot their revenge. when old friends plot their revenge, you are shot in the back of the head. And when you're shot in the back of the head, you miss your jazzercise appointment. Don't miss your jazzercise appointment. Upgrade to Indirect TV. Go online or call 1-800-ERECT-TV.
Millions of Americans every day are shedding unwanted pounds by taking tested and proven Ultra Lipo Stick. Carbohydrates are bad. Our carbo-fighting antioxidant is good. Just listen to these satisfied customers.
My name is Gail, and I lost like 20 pounds on Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Jared, and I lost 46 pounds using Ultra Lipo Stick.
My name is Zach, and I actually gained weight. This stuff sucks!
Ultra Lipo Stick is safe and easy to inject. Just 3 doses 4 times a day discreetly underneath your fingernail. Listen to this.
I used Ultra Lipo Stick and suffered from side effects like uncontrollable greasy discharge.
Ultra Lipo Stick, it turned the armpits of all of my shirts orange. This stuff is crap.
Try it today and see some real results. Ultra Lipo Stick. Not available in stores. Results may vary.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Most politically incorrect black man on the planet, Rod Eccles.
You know, what I would like to see is people get totally upset with Hillary and our politicians for them not being politically correct themselves, and foisting all these lies and fables and foibles and illegality upon the rest of us, as much as we despise Tom Brady for potentially knowing about underinflated footballs. I think if people got as upset about politics as they do about footballs, because let's face it, you know, you can't do anything, you can do far less. I know, I hear a lot of people say that, well, there's not much you can do about politics, Rod. I mean, whatever you do, there's not much you can do about it. Well, yeah, there is. But you can do absolutely zilch, zero, nada about Deflategate or any other football of foible, if you will, or any other professional sport. Sure, you don't have to spend your money there, but other than that, there's nothing you can do that is going to affect professional sports or your actors or what have you, your entertainers. But there is still a lot more you can do on the political side. You can go and elect different people. You can vote for different people and elect somebody new and better. You can't elect and vote for somebody new and better on your football team or your basketball team or hockey team or baseball team. I mean, you know, how many years have some of these professional sports teams been miserable? They've been terrible records. You know, coach after coach has been, you know, fired, let go, what have you, demoted, and yet the fans still go. I mean, there's nothing they can do to change it. But there is something they can do to change bad politicians. But, you know, they'll continue to dish out cash one way or another for their favorite sports team or their favorite movie star, but they won't even take the time out to go and vote for somebody simply because they say, well, there's nothing I can do. We got to wake up from this funk that we're in or something. I don't know. Hello, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, El Rod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, I looked again today, and it is still live free or die. I love that statement. It means small, unintrusive government, and that's a good thing. And we seem to be, states with small government seem to be doing just fine. Here in New Hampshire, we're doing just fine, and I do believe Montana has a fairly small state government, doing just fine. Alaska, doing just fine, even with the likes of, having, as the left would call them, total airheads and idiots as a governor, like Sarah Palin, doing just fine. Just fine. It is Tuesday, May the 12th in the year of our Lord 2015, excuse me, as we are rolling along and sliding into, well, not sliding into, but climbing up to a hump day, the middle of the week tomorrow. The number that you can call here this evening, if you wish to join me live and tell me what you think about some of the things I've been discussing today and yesterday. This toll-free number is 603-835-3224. That's 603-835-3224. And that just goes to show that, yes, 603, I'm from the 603. Hey, it's a New Hampshire number. Yes, it is. Just to let you know that today, yours truly, your lovable host here, has increased his syndication for his column or weekly post to cnsnews.com. Now, CNS News is huge, and they have some of the best writers out there writing for CNS News. And I got to tell you, this puts me in a different category, if you will, because of all the potential readership that is there, that isn't available to a lot of the other syndicate outlets that I currently have, and some of them do. Don't get me wrong; I'm not dissing any of them. They have different clientele, and I get to reach that many more by now being on CNS, which is awesome. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's awesome. So that puts me in the category of being starting to be one of the top commentators out there on the web, and that's a great thing. I mean, I look at it as an honor, really, being able to be a part of such a largely viewed and revered publication as CNS News. It's great. As well as being a part of Vigilant Liberty Radio here on Spreaker, and Zinc Media is looking to expand and do a few things, and we got a lot of stuff coming up this summer leading up to the Christmas season. Going to be a lot of great stuff. So you got to really hang on and hang around and pay attention and see how we grow. Be a part of that growth is what I always say. It's going to be a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it's in an area that that we don't really want to have to deal with too often, politics. But it is what it is. Hey, if you've heard of this guy named Jamal Bryant. Now, this is rare that I actually take something directly off of a program that I heard earlier today. Because when I did, I found it interesting that when this show was first on the air, it was broadcast in the morning, and it came on at, it was 10 to noon. And it was kind of amazing that I would be talking about stuff 10 to noon that a lot of the big guys later on during the day, and I'm not going to say that they're plagiarizing or that they're listening to blog talk radio programs or other internet programs, but when you say certain things in a certain way and you hear them repeated, later on, you kind of think somebody was listening and fed the information to those big guy hosts. And it was kind of flattering. I just wish I would have gotten more credit for it because it happened quite often, actually. And I tried to. There were times I did personal experiments. Now you can say it's just anecdotal evidence, Rod. There's no proof of it. You're right. There is no actual proof. But I did a couple of a few tests where there was I thought was a big topic, and I held off talking about it for that day, and I'd listen to all the other guys. Didn't hear anything about it. But it was a big it was a big story, you would have thought. And so I'd get it the next day. And then lo and behold, one or two of the big guys all of a sudden talk about it. I'm thinking, well, okay, that's I know it's anecdotal. It's all coinkadink, if you will. But I rarely return the favor by talking about something that I heard on these big guy talk shows, except today I heard something that was it was so outlandish and ludicrous that I felt, well, geez, I've got to look into this further. And lo and behold, look, the Great Rush Bow was right on target. And yeah, I'm talking about something from the Rush Limbaugh show. Now, this is a rarity that I'm going to be actually following a story from one of the big guys. Because I like to set my own path, go on my own path in my own direction and talk to you about stuff usually that isn't really being covered by the big guys, at least until I talk about them. And no, the football thing, I just didn't want to talk about. I know everybody else was talking about it. I didn't want to talk about it, but it got to the point where I could not talk about it. But this is something that also needs to be discussed more, and it needs to have a black man, conservative black man perspective added to it. And it should come from the coolest, most politically incorrect conservative black man. So this is my perspective, and this has to do with a Baltimore preacher out there talking about economic disenfranchisement. That's a very dumb word to use in the political sense. It really, disenfranchisement. As opposed to enfranchisement. This is disenfranchisement, and this preacher, this black preacher, he said economic disenfranchisement left us with but one. Only one. We only had one chain store to burn. Now notice he said left us. I don't know. I think somebody should ask him. Preacher, were you down in the streets rioting and looting and burning at the same time as the masses were? But he says it left us with but one chain store to burn. Now, this is what this guy said. He said it's been blown grossly out of proportion. What it really says, too, is how much disenfranchisement taken place. We could only find one store in the neighborhood to destroy, basically, is what the guy is saying. There was only one major chain store that we could find in the neighborhood to destroy. Now I gotta ask you. Well, I gotta wonder: is CVS going to rebuild? I don't know. Has CVS rebuilt? Or on their way to rebuilding that store in that neighborhood? Well, no, wouldn't it be something if they don't? Because then blacks they're probably going to accuse CVS of being racist and redlining. Where else are blacks going to be able to, African Americans are going to be able to get their legal drugs if CVS isn't in the neighborhood? You burned them out. And you looted them out. And they probably don't want to have to deal with that. They're major corporations, so they're able to handle and absorb such a loss a lot easier than a small mom and pop shop. But their whole thing is not to go into risky areas. They want to mitigate their risk like anybody else. So they're probably saying, I don't know, well, maybe we don't reopen the store. So you got to ask, well, if that's the case, then where are all the African Americans going to be able to get, cheap legal drugs if CVS does not reopen? And the whole thing about disenfranchisement, by the way, the priest or the pastor's name is Jamal Bryant, and he's the pastor of an Empowerment Temple Ministries. Now, I don't know anything about Empowerment Temple Industries, but I do know of these independent churches like Empowerment Temple Ministries. And they have at one level or another, they have this black liberation theology platform. Now, some of many of them are not elevated to the level of Jeremiah Wright church that Obama sat in for 20 years. But nonetheless, they talk about, God delivering blacks from this new form of slavery that we're in. Yes, they call welfare and poverty enslavement. And it's rare for them to see something from the outside, come inside the neighborhood. So something from outside the neighborhood coming into the neighborhood. And one of these things that's a glaring show of support for the community is, a company like CVS. Now, granted, they want to make money. They're trying to make a profit. But at the same time, they planted themselves in the heart of this neighborhood, thinking that, they'd be able to make a go of it. Well, boy, were they wrong. But corporations, they're out there trying to make a buck and employ people who are trying to make a buck. And, tearing down the store or burning down the store put people in the neighborhood that were hired from the neighborhood out of work. But you don't hear them you don't hear people like Jamal Bryant, pastor of Empowerment Temple Ministries, talking about the lost jobs down there in Baltimore. You don't hear him or anybody talk about the lost black-owned businesses down there in Baltimore. You don't hear Pastor Jamal Bryant of Empowerment Temple Ministries or people like him of other churches down there talking about the lost black jobs from black business owners in that area because of the riots. No. All he's concerned about is the disenfranchisement because CVS was the only major national chain or franchise to be in the Baltimore area that these riots took place. This is back in the good old days, 1968, 1992. Why we were able to inflict hundreds of millions of dollars in damage, but now we're pickers because in Baltimore there's only one CVS store. 25 million, that's chump change, and he's blaming it on the economy. So the economy is bad because of who? What? Obama's policies. So that's the other thing that isn't being properly talked about and reported on. Understand, if these people in these cities, if my fellow citizen with lots of melanin in their skin, my brown brothers and sisters here in America, if they feel that they are disenfranchised, you got to ask, well, because of economic conditions, you got to ask, well, whose economy is this? This isn't George Bush's economy. We're over 6 years into Obama's administration. It cannot be George Bush's problem anymore. He cannot be. Look, we had an economy that was probably just as bad, if not worse, going into a new president from Jimmy Carter to Ronald Reagan. But Ronald Reagan was able to turn it around. And even blacks back then rode the wave of success. Not this time, though. Not this time. And you have to ask and wonder, well, why is that? Why not this time? Well, it's due to the fact that we have a president with a certain amount or certain kind of how can we say that? He has a certain kind of a policy, economic policy. And that economic, because people talk about, trickle-down economics doesn't work. Well, it does really work. But we've used things a little bit differently. We've said, triple, and now we're saying trickle up poverty. Now, that's actually a misnomer. Instead of trickle-down success, we have trickle-up poverty. But that's a misnomer because it lets us know what we're talking about so that we all can be on the same page. Even if you're a liberal, you fully understand when somebody says trickle-up poverty. But the real point is, if you actually look at it, it's still trickle-down. See, good things trickle from the top economic rung down to the lower economic rung if good things continue to happen. Now, if bad things continue to happen, if bad things continue to happen at that upper economic group, that is going to also trickle down, probably faster and more harshly at the lower levels than if it were a booming economy. You see, because a wave, an economic wave, does lift all ships. And it lifts all ships, be they big or small. But if you don't want to take your boat out and row or navigate the rough waters after your boat's been risen, well, that's up to you. And then it's not the mechanics or any other person's fault that you can't, work and continue your economic climb. It's not the people below you, and it's not directly the people above you in your economic class. But it's the policies that they're reflecting. Now, if Obama is out there saying, well, hey, we need more taxes because the rich can afford to pay more, and they should pay more. It's only fair. Well, when the rich have less money to spend, what happens? Well, they have less money to spend, which means all the people that work in businesses that cater or offer a product or service to the rich don't need as many people. They don't. So people get laid off. Plain and simple. That's a trickle down type of thing. If a business, because a poor person doesn't have a job to offer anybody else, they're not going to fire anybody else. But a financially wealthy person could, and he could look down and say, well, you attacked my, you attacked me by attacking my economic class, and by raising my taxes or changing certain policies, which means we can't do what we used to do. We can't buy what we used to buy. We can't invest in what we used to invest in. We cannot have as many employees as we had. So, we're going to let people go. We're going to stop this program, stop that program. We're not going to allow people to, to take pictures of our feet or anything like that. I'm just speaking barefoot and, people on the beach or something like that. But, it isn't the fault of the general public outside of your community, Mr. Bryant. That is at fault here. To some degree, it's your fault and people within your economic community's fault for even attempting to try to justify this whole looting and burning thing and destruction. And you're saying it yourself. Well, there was only one national brand or national company in the neighborhood that we could find that we could destroy and burn. So as a pastor, are you happy and proud of the fact that people burned a store like that. I mean, really, is that something that you want to be proud of that people do? I don't want to be known or proud of stuff like that. That's not right. Why would anybody do that? I mean, it is what it is, folks.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. Call InventHelp today.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-352-1609. That's 1-800-352-1609.
If you want to work until you keel over, have less of everything in retirement, or give back more of your hard-earned money to the stock market again, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to protect the money you save, receive a steady, predictable retirement income, and enjoy financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. You can download a free report that reveals the wealth-building secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. You'll learn how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and real prosperity without risking your money in the Wall Street casino, and how to get the money you need when you need it, simply by asking for it. This is the best way to have a 100% secure retirement, and know your money will last as long as you do. To learn more about this method, and to get your free report, go to 52security.com. That's the number 52security.com. 52security.com. Go to 52security.com.
Hurt or injured in a car accident? It can be hard to take the proper legal action after a car accident, but waiting can cost you more. The law requires car accident victims to assert claims promptly. You could lose out by simply waiting. Call 800-709-4667 right now to see what your claim could be worth when handled by a skilled attorney. With a lawyer fighting and speaking up for you, you could be entitled to a big cash award. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Now it's fast and easy to connect with the legal help you need after your car accident. Call 800-709-4667. The call is free, but you need to act now before time runs out on your claim. You need a lawyer to fight for you, protect you, and get you the compensation you need and deserve. Time's wasting. Call 800-709-4667. That's 800-709-4667. Call now.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
You shouldn't have to pay to talk to the people closest to you, or the people who used to be. That's why Umbrella Wireless is proud to announce the new Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan. Now you'll get unlimited calls to your best buddy, your mom, or Cindy, once she realizes that you're seriously meant for each other and should stop screening your calls. Now the 30 minutes of agonizing silence where you're both afraid to hang up may drain your battery, but it won't drain your wallet. And you'll get unlimited calls just to check if she still cares enough to pick up, with no extra charges. With the Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, your phone will automatically answer calls from your ex, because maybe she finally realizes that you're the only one for her and wants to get coffee sometime. Now, after lonely nights of looking at pictures of the road trip you took together when everything was great, your misspelled texts are absolutely free. The only thing you have to pay for is the booze. The Friends, Family, and Recent Ex-Girlfriend plan, because she wants you back. She just doesn't know it yet.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
Hey, 603, toll-free number, 603-835-3224 is the number to call if you want to be a part of The Rod Eccles Show. Hey, the Washington Times is reporting that only one Republican running for president scored a 100% conservative rating. Now, I know some people are not going to like this story. But I'm just here to tell you what they're talking about and what they're saying about all of this, and it is well, we won't listen to that. I don't know where that came from, but anyway, only one Republican running for president scored a 100% conservative rating. And you're probably thinking, well, who might that be? Well, here's part of the story. There are several takeaways from ACU's 2014 rating of Congress. It says Matt Schlapp, who's the chairman of the group. First, the liberals in Congress tend to vote together as a bloc. The left does a great job of enforcing lockstep orthodoxy to the detriment of the constituents they represent. Now, understand that. These guys are running lockstep all the time with, things that they do and the things that they believe in. And they are simply out there repeating and running. Republicans don't do this as often or as well. Now, and here's here's a rundown of what they came up with. Now, on a 100-point rating system for their conservative voting records, there are essentially no Democrats in the House or Senate who breached the 40th percentile. Over 30 Democrats had a score of 0% this year, including Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia. Now, he says, we can only conclude that the former Democratic National Committee chairman plans to serve one term representing the Commonwealth of Virginia before he returns to lead the fringe portion of the liberal activist base. Now, the problem is a slim few Republicans were rated between 40 and 49% on the scale. With the majority of them scoring around 60% and above, 16 earned a 100% rating this year, including Senators Mike Lee and Ted Cruz. Now, I am sure many of you probably were thinking, oh, yeah, that's going to be Ron Paul. Well, evidently, it's not Ron Paul, but Ted Cruz who gets the nod for that. And, I don't know how many people are going to... look, I fully understand that there are people that have already made their choices for who they want to support. And that's not going to probably sit well for a lot of Rand Paul and others. But according to... Now, I don't really... No, it doesn't... The article doesn't go into... specifics of how they rate this conservative type of thought. But I would doubt to say, I would, in my own opinion, I would doubt that anybody is 100% all the time. There's got to be, I guess it just really depends on what your criteria is. But the only candidate currently running for office that they rate as 100% conservative 100% of the time is none other than Senator Ted Cruz. So if you are a Ted Cruz fan, you're probably going to sit very high on the pedestal on that bit of information. And if you're a Ron Paul person, well, you might just say, well, you know what? Because Ron Paul's a libertarian, not a conservative. Well, that's not good in my book. A lot of times. Now, I know some people are saying, well, Rod, you kind of sound like a libertarian sometimes. That's simply because I'm a constitutionalist. But understand, I'm a constitutional conservative. I believe in the intent of the founding fathers' reasoning of the Constitution, and I believe in the Constitution. I don't believe that this notion or mantra that government outside of county level should be non-existent. Absolutely not. And the federal government should be so weak and feeble that it can't get anything done. No, I don't agree with that either. But I do believe that the government has gotten too big on the federal and the state level, and the local municipal level in many areas. It's gotten too big, and it is too involved in our everyday, daily lives. Plain and simple. And one of the things that we know that this is absolutely true, that a vast majority of Americans also agree, is Obamacare. And here's a CNSnews.com story. Yes, home of my newest home for my conservative thought via my post commentary. Obama's home state to shut down state-based Obamacare exchange over lack of funds. And everybody's probably thinking, oh, Illinois? No, Obama's home state, people. Yeah, Rod, you mean Illinois. Obama's from Illinois. Everybody knows Obama's from Illinois. Chicago, the Chicago way. Rod, he's from Illinois. No, he's not. His home state of Hawaii. President Barack Obama's home state of Hawaii is shutting down its state-based health exchange, care exchange. The Hawaii Health Connector, HHC, Hawaii Health Connector, acronym of the three letters HHC, due to incurring debts and the unwillingness of state legislators to put more taxpayer money into the struggling operation. Wait, I thought this was going to be cheap. Weren't we told this was going to be inexpensive? This is going to be cheap. We're going to be able to insure everybody on the cheap. Now, this was established back in 2011, and the nonprofit organization is Hawaii's state-based health exchange for the president's Affordable Care Act. Obviously, that name is wrong, because if they don't have enough money and they can't afford to put more money into it, then it's not all that affordable. Then I know. I'm thinking, Rod, that's just common sense and logic there. I mean, you can't think that way, Rod. You can't think in a logical and you can't believe in common sense, Rod. It just doesn't work that way. And people, Rod, they want things for free, you see. And they don't understand that free really costs a lot, that none of us can really afford government free. But if you just say it's free, Rod, then they're going to believe you. And if you take it away, they're just going to say, those stupid rich people just want to take it away from us, Rod. You got to understand this. Well, again, established in 2011. There are currently about 37 Hawaiians enrolled in the health care plans through the exchange, far short of the roughly 70,000 needed to raise enough money to sustain it. Wait. Hold on, timeout. Rewind. Now, we remember that all of this stuff was supposed to, we're going to have massive amounts of people flooding the system. That it was going to be, self-sustaining and be able to support itself, and it was going to be less expensive than the current system, and before Obamacare. And it was going to be more affordable for folks. And we were going to have millions and millions and millions of people flooding to exchanges and getting their health care and everything, and that every state was going to set up their own exchange. And to date, every state has not set up their own exchange. In fact, there are states that are dropping their own exchanges and their own state programs, like Vermont, because they don't have the funds, because it's gotten too expensive and not enough people have signed up, because all these people are out there thinking, well, this sucks. So here's the proof. In Obama's home state, the state where he grew up, the state where the Choom Gang once ruled the roadways, the state where he went to high school, the state where he graduated from, the state where his grandmammy lived. They needed 70,000 people to be enrolled in this healthcare exchange in Hawaii. And only a little more than half the number of people they needed enrolled. So there was no money there. So, of course, the taxpayer was going to have to foot the rather large bill to get the other half to enroll. Now, officials with the exchange released a report to its board of directors last week, declaring that the state-based marketplace simply does not have the money to continue operations. Now that it's clear that the state will not provide sufficient support for the Hawaii Health Connector's operations through fiscal year 2016, ending June 30th in 2016, the connector can no longer operate in a manner that would cause it to incur additional debts or other obligations for which it is unable to pay. Because even in liberal Hawaii, the state legislature said, hell no, we ain't paying for no more of this. Because it was supposed to, this is 2015. It was supposed to have paid for itself by now. Look, folks, you're going to find that this is going to be the case around the country in various states. States that have defied Obama and decided not to have such a thing, as well as states that thought they'd get on board with this thing and do it. And you're gonna find out that they can't afford it, and they're going to be either curtailing or dropping this whole. This is why the lawsuit is before the Supreme Court. Different courts saying that the federal government can't have an exchange because the law specifically states that states were to do this. It said nothing about the Fed coming in and swooping in and doing it for the states if the states didn't want to do it. It says the states will do it, and the states did. A lot of states didn't do it, and even the states that did do it, some of them are saying, "Well, we can't do it anymore." So you're stuck. Well, I don't know. I'm sure somehow this is going to be about race. All you white people in Hawaii, you just don't want the native Hawaiians to have health care. That's what it is. Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, just like it's not black people's fault for burning down the only national company in that neighborhood in Baltimore. It's not black people. In fact, there should be more there. Hey, Starbucks, you better pay attention to this. Because Starbucks says, hey, we're going to start putting our money where our mouth is and putting stores in places. And one of the first places we're going to put a store in the inner city in these bad neighborhoods is in Baltimore. Yes. Well, you better pay attention to it. And then trust me, these corporations are paying attention. Now this guy's out there, the reverend's out there or the pastor's out there saying, well, we can only find one national chain to burn, so we burned it. If we had other national chains to burn, we would have burned it. But we only had one, so we could only burn one. If we had two, we would have burned both. We had 10, we would have burned all 10, but we could only find one because that's all we had. They're not going to go. They're not going to invest in that neighborhood. And let me tell you something. These legislators, these state legislators, they're looking at the bottom line, and they're saying, we already know that the vast majority of American people, of our constituents, don't want this Obamacare thing. And if our state isn't meeting the needs of the people as far as the minimum number that need to self-sustain this thing, we can't go to the people of this state and say, hey, we're going to raise your taxes and so we can afford this thing. They will have our heads. And this is what's happening in Hawaii. Even the liberal society of Hawaii is saying, you know what, we the taxpayer can't foot this bill anymore. This is already supposed to be self-sustaining. It should have been self-sustaining long ago, but it isn't. And we're only halfway there. So we're going to have to put in all this money. That's going to be taxpayer money. And taxpayers are going to say, wait a minute, we can't afford this, this, and this. And you're saying we got to put now more money in here and you want to raise our taxes again? Oh, hell no. Yeah, and you're going to see some Democratic heads roll. Look, even Kentucky Hawaii isn't free from the wrath of voters. They're gonna vote people out that are taking more money out of their pocket. Because believe it or not, most of your run-of-the-mill average everyday, next door neighbor, Joe and Jane liberal, do not want this country to end up being a 70% average tax rate that Finland is. They don't want that. Because look, when it comes right down to it, even all good liberals want to keep as much money in their pockets as they possibly can. They just want you, especially if you're conservative or a Republican, to pay more. They don't want to pay any more. And when you start saying, well, you know what? If you are so convinced that liberalism is the majority of this country, that means the Republicans are the minority, and there are fewer Republicans than Democrats. Well, if we can only raise the taxes on the Republicans, it isn't going to be enough because there aren't enough Republicans. Yep. Now, of course, they don't fully believe that because they know that this country is right of center. They just don't want to admit it. But let's just say for a second that they might be a little bit correct in their assessment for the number of Democrats versus Republicans. That there is this vast difference, and there are a large number of Democrats that exceed Republicans. Well, if you're only really going to, and the Republicans are rich, so if you're only going to tax the rich Republicans, there isn't enough of them. And so even Democrats can do simple math and say, well, if we need for this exchange, let's just throw out a round number, $10 million to have this exchange. And there's only enough rich Republicans to provide $4 million. Well, where the hell is that other $6 million going to come from? Well, it's going to come from me and the rest of the liberals, and they can do that math. And they're just saying, oh, hell no. We ain't paying anymore. We're already burned enough by taxes. Hey, Senate Democrats. Now, this is a direct affront to Obama. Now, Obama's out there saying, "Oh, this feels like this is personal to me." I can't believe my own party. Elizabeth Warren is out there. She's attacked me left and right. Yeah, I can't believe this woman. And here's a liberal woman like me. Well, I'm not a woman, but she's liberal like me. A socialist like me. But she's out there attacking my plan. And when she attacked it, and the Democrats agreed with her. And now this feels a little personal. I might cry. Because I'm only here trying to do the best for the people of this country. In putting forth my plan that I know will work but Elizabeth Warren is out there attacking me personally. It just feels hot. It's personal. The Senate Democrats block action on Obama's trade agenda. The U.S. Senate Democrats, and this is a Newsmax story, but it's all over the place. I mean, this is being I can't go to I don't think a single independent or conservative news site where this story about Elizabeth Warren and some Democrats blocking the president's trade pact policy, the fast track, isn't prominently displayed. It's kind of, look, this is the kind of stuff that we got to make sure gets out there. So the U.S. Senate Democrats, not Republicans, they can't blame Republicans on this. Elizabeth Warren has been leading the charge against Obama on this one from day one. Republicans have nothing to do with it. And I'm sure the Republican leadership is blowing a huge sigh of relief over this one. We have nothing to do with this one, man. This is internal. They can keep this. We're out of it. But U.S. Senate Democrats delivered a major blow to President Barack Obama's trade agenda on Tuesday, blocking debate on a bill that would have smoothed the path for a Pacific Trade Pact. The stunning outcome cast doubt on legislation that is key to the Obama administration's ability to complete the 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership, a central plank of its pivot to Asia. What pivot? There is no pivot. Look, Elizabeth Warren is saying, no, now all you're going to do is give business and bankers the ability to take jobs overseas to Asia. Now, basically, the story goes on to say what we just saw here is pretty shocking, said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, a Republican. He's like, hey, we had nothing to do with this one, man. I'm surprised that somebody isn't trying to blame I'm surprised that there isn't a leftist out there trying to blame George Bush. But even Mitch McConnell is scratching his head. Well, this is pretty shocking, man. We didn't really have to do anything yet, and the Democrats are pretty much squashing this one. So after a Senate voted 52 to 45, short of the 60 votes needed to pave the way for debate on fast track trade authority for Obama, the vote marked a victory for Senate Democratic leader Harry Reid. Harry Reid, an outspoken opponent of fast track after weeks of speculation that the toughest fight would be in the House of Representatives, not the Senate. Good old Harry Reid did something right for a change. I don't know, maybe that beatdown that he got, that he's still suffering from, jarred some logic in his brain or something. I don't know. But folks, look, this is the kind of stuff that Republicans are just sitting back, their hands behind their head, sitting in the back of their seats, and stretching out and saying, this is going to be an internal one for the Democrats. We're not a part of this one. We're against it. So, but we don't really have to do much because they're taking it on themselves. You can't make this stuff up. And look, this could be a sign of a chink in Obama's armor, because these people, they can sense a massive slaughter in 2016. They want to prevent that. They want to, at least keep the status quo. And if they have any hope of regaining the White House for Hillary or Elizabeth or any other Democratic nominee, they know they got to kill this kind of stuff. But I don't. Maybe it's just too late. And the Republicans are probably doing the right thing. They probably are. Well, folks, that means I'm out of time for today. I'm Rod Eccles. See you back here tomorrow. For now, I'm out.